Welcome to Going Beyond. Thank you so much for joining us. In my studio today is Dr.Bryan Peppin. He's been an English teacher pretty much all of his life, but there's far more to him than just that. So thanks a lot, Brian, for coming in here. First of all, now, how many years were you teaching English for as a professor?
I started in 1975 and I retired in 2012. So that must be about 37 years or so.
And during that period of time, you also went overseas and you were actually teaching English in the Middle East.
Yes.
So I'm very curious to know what it was like to be in another country teaching something like English.
The first place that I visited was Bahrain, but there it was a school, and I got the opportunity to teach A and O levels of the GCSE board in England. But when I went to Oman in 2004, then I was teaching students who had passed through the school system and were now taking up studies in basic, let's say, engineering or computers, or that kind of thing. But they needed some knowledge of English.
But how do those students in those countries actually relate to somebody who's coming from another country? Were they good students?
Yes, they were very good students. They were attentive. The girls definitely much more than the boys. But overall, the standards are so low, or at least they were quite low in those days. I'm talking about the early before 2010. And it was a challenge to, teach them the basics of English grammar, which is what they actually need.
Right. So now, apart from your teaching, I know that you've also been having a bit of a little battle when your father was, in the British Army. And I'd like to draw you out on that because how did it come about? What happened? What did you do?
Well, I wasn't there at the time.
I know. I'm sure not.
My old man was born in 1918 at the end of the First World War. In 1939, coincidentally, he was 21 and ready to be sent off to battle against Hitler and his henchmen. That was, to me at least, an opportunity of a lifetime, and he grabbed it. And so he went off after training in Pune for some time. He was sent off to the North African desert. And then from there, after I think Montgomery defeated Rommel with his 8th Army, he was moved over to the European war front. And he came back to India in 1946. I think he was demobbed in 1947. He came back to small town Trichy, where I actually was born, found that wonderful woman who was my mother, married her, and produced 2 children, the second one being me.
Okay. Now, the 8th Army, to have been in the 8th Army, must have been a very prestigious thing at that time, isn't it? We've got Montgomery.
It has to be, yes. It has to be.
Yes.
But his records show that he did receive the 8th Army clasp and the African Star, 2 medals which were conferred on him during his time there.
I recall somebody talking to us about the African Star and how prestigious a medal that was at that time. But what is it now that you have been actually working on when it comes to your father and his life?
Well, I only recently discovered these books in my possession.
Which books?
The army book, his regular army book, and his diary of sorts. It's also another army issue in which he documents the whole of the Second World War, year by year, month by month, and that is something very, very few people have done to, transfer it to posterity.
Absolutely.
So I don't know how or why he took that challenge up, and as you have seen, his handwriting is so flawless, it makes wonderful reading.
Yes, we're going to take some pictures of that, of course,
Sure.
because I know that you have brought the books here for us and some of his old album. That's a beautiful record. You've got this amazing record. So now, have you been in touch with the authorities in England about people of that time, that generation, that war?
Yes, all that is actually in a book that I now have with a publisher. He's going through it, and all that is documented in this new book. That's going to be my 5th book, hopefully. Yes, I did contact the War Records Office in Leicester, in England, about this guy called my father.
Your dad, yes.
And they replied quite promptly to me, but they said they had no record of this guy.
How is it possible?
They said perhaps records after the year 1921 were not yet in the public domain. In 1921, he was just 3 years old. What difference does it make?
Yeah, of course not.
So I just left it like that, and therefore it came to me that many people have written about the unknown soldier, unsung, unwept, unheard of. But I was not willing to let that go. So I started writing this paean, let me call it, or a dirge, let me call it.
I don't think it's a dirge. I'm sure it's not a dirge, not at all.
Or a memoir, or something like that. I like to think of it all as rolled into one.
Right. But you also definitely thought of your father as a hero.
Definitely.
And I think, is the book called Heroes?
No, it is called Forget. They may, I won't.
Forget not, then.
No, forget. Because they have forgotten already. They may, I won't. And this is my book. This is my take on the nature of heroism.
What do you think about heroes? What do you think about heroism?
Heroism is always that small man who is left out of the picture, big picture. Montgomery takes the cake when it comes to the 8th Army. My dad was there. He fought for that guy.
Right.
He came back to India successful and was forgotten. So who is actually a hero? What is heroism? Do we need bombastic speeches from politicians?
Not at all.
No, not
No
really.
way.
So, unfortunately, I'm quite sure about this. My dad didn't know how to tell his own story. So I had to do it for him to rake up this issue, to show that there are people, not just my dad, but so many other people, unknown, unsung, uncared for, whose stories need to be told.
Right. I'm going to disagree with you on that one point that you made about your father, because he's written everything in that book there. It's all there. It's just that he probably didn't want to make it very well known, and therefore he's written his own memory, his own diary, his own details day to day. So surely I'm right on that point, Brian.
We could debate that, but
I'm ready for it.
It would take a mammoth effort to write day to day while in service on the war front.
Yes,
impossible,
of course.
almost.
Yes.
So probably he came back to small-time Trichy and then got together all his
thoughts,
thoughts and his reading and his ideas, and it is very straightforward a narrative documenting the events, the major events of the Second World War.
Right. In your book, will you be actually using any of his existing as you have it today? Will we end up seeing his writing? Will we end up seeing... Oh, you're going to put that?
Yes.
That's in there?
That makes him human. That makes him a man. That makes him a hero. Because he was there, he did that, he won that, he wrote about it, and then passed on. But I am not willing to let that happen. I will give his story, whatever it's worth, to the world.
Right. We don't read much detail from people who've actually been there. I think my father was there somewhere in that area in Basra, Iraq, somewhere. Nothing known about them. No details at all. So therefore, I think that you've hit the nail on the head, that there must be people all over this world, especially in India, who would love to read what their parents or their forefathers went through. So is that where you're coming from? This is not just about Dr. Bryan Peppin, but it's about all the many people and the many families whose parents, grandparents went to war and, came back to tell the tale. They didn't tell the
They
tale, though,
didn't.
isn't it?
Yes, they didn't.
No, I'm sure they didn't tell the tale, but there must be a lot of people there whose memory might be jogged. Maybe if there are a few very elderly people around, or families who will be very interested. So do you see a good response to a book like this about heroes, about heroism? Because there are not that many heroes and heroism that much.
I'm hoping for that, Jennifer. I'm hoping that people will sit up and take notice. Because if we go by history, India actually gave to the war effort
Yes.
the maximum number of lives and manpower. And there's very little about the Indian contribution. All in all, we are still Indian. And so this is a documentary. This is a memoir. This is a going back in time. This is an alternative history. It's everything rolled in one. And I hope that it will lead to a redefinition of the word heroism. And if I am being a little ambitious, by telling my dad's tale, I'm wondering if some of his glory will reflect on me.
I don't think you deserve that. I mean, I think that's being a little bit arrogant. But tell me something. What about the our armed forces as they exist today? Don't you think that book is going to be very pertinent to them to read what people went through that many years ago? So will you actually, when your book is done, when it's published, would you actually be reaching out maybe to the generals, to our armed forces, to let them know, because maybe they don't know all the details that's in your father's little book?
Quite possible, yes. And if I'm not wrong, the Indian Army still follows quite a lot of those old, those traditions.
Traditions, absolutely.
So
yes.
It should be of interest to them. It should be of interest to the general public. And I've kept it deliberately short because people don't have time to read nowadays.
And simple, I hope?
Yes. Yes. Readable. Simple.
From a professor, I'm not so sure.
Well, you'll have to read it then and find out.
And I'll have to get back to you on that one. So you've done 5 books. Tell me about the other books that you've done. I know I've got a few there.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
There are 4 of them
Thank
there.
you. Yes, thank you.
The first one I wrote when I was in Bahrain. That was back in 1995. It's a kind of, let's say, I don't like the phrase, but it's a kind of a love story.
Mm-hmm. What is kind of?
That's why I say I don't like that.
Yeah. Love story is a love story, Brian. I don't know about...
It's also a questioning love story. It asks... No writer simply puts down words on paper. He is supposed to, that's how I feel, ask questions. You provide the answers, the reader. You find the answers. And so one of the questions asked in this book, it's a novel, short novel, no accident. Can a man love 2 women? Maybe very male-oriented, but the opposite is also true. Can a woman love 2 men at the same time? I mean, that's one of the...
So can I ask you what you think?
It's difficult. It's difficult. And quite often, you grow into the other person that you have chosen for life, so that all the others are just extras, I would think, finally, at this age.
Okay. I'm listening to you very, very carefully, very carefully indeed, because when I read the book, I'm going to get back to you.
Please.
What about the other books, Brian?
The other book is, the second book is called Double or Quits. It's a compilation of 2 plays, very short plays. One is about the day in the life of a college teacher.
Okay.
So
Your own story?
I wouldn't want to say that, but you can read into it.
Mm-hmm.
It is divided into 5 scenes following the 5 different hours in the college that we have nowadays.
Right.
And it isn't a pretty picture.
Oh.
Yeah. I vent my anger on all kinds of things. You have to read it. The second one is the old Anglo-Indian question, to go or not to go. That book is second one is called Upside Down, the second play, and it is about a young couple. Don't ask if it's me again. And they decide to go to Australia. This is their last few days in India. And so they are packing up, and nostalgia. His friends come over. He's a college teacher, of course. And his friends come over for a last party, farewell party, and all that kind of thing. And after a few years, 10 years maybe, they come back to India. And he relates some of his experiences there in Australia. And, things are left like that in limbo because it's an ongoing story.
Right. Now, you were 28 years a professor in the New College, which is a well-known college
Definitely.
in Madras, Chennai. So what was it like to be so long in one place, and how did you enjoy being a college professor?
Well, I think it is in the blood. My mother was a school teacher for 40 years, let's say. So I took over, and together we crossed 75. New College was born in 1951. So next year, she will be 75 years old. I joined New College in 1975, which means I will also be celebrating 50 years of my association with the college because I joined in 1975.
Right.
So before 1975, I didn't know that New College existed. But they were the only college to invite me to an interview. I went, I saw, I conquered, and I stayed there. Yes.
A long time there.
And I rose through the ranks to retire voluntarily as the head of department.
HOD, yes, I know that, yes.
Of the English department, which is now a full-fledged research department. I would like to take credit that it was my initial efforts that, brought this about. But, we have a host of young men there who are passionate about the language and English literature and, teaching in general. So I'd like to say I was the father of it all.
Right. Dr. Pepin, your PhD, your thesis was on Anglo-Indian studies.
Yes.
Am I right? Now, I want you to explain what that means. What do you mean by that?
Well, the first paragraph, which is only one sentence in my PhD itself, was an Anglo-Indian is a human being. All too often in film and in writing, novel writing, fiction writing. So I looked deeply into the literature regarding Anglo-Indians and the critical literature on that literature about Anglo-Indians, and I find that the stereotype continues.
So whose fault is that stereotype continues? Tell me. Seriously, what do you really think?
Well, for one thing, the Anglo-Indian hasn't had a voice for a long time. The erstwhile leader of the community, Frank Anthony, probably did something, but no one really knew him beyond the political circles. At the grassroots level, people that we come into contact daily with, they understand that we are a fun-loving yet serious people, and I think I must take my hat off. I don't wear one, but to my parents, because I think only in the late 60s, early 70s, Anglo-Indians started going to college and thinking of education as something that would bring them up.
That was important.
It was very important to compete with others.
So where do you think the future of that community lies then?
Well, actually, we are carving a niche for ourselves in IT, in influencing, in films, for that matter, in writing, if you wanted to call me a writer. I was called a kind of a writer some time ago.
I like that kind of writer. Okay, I wonder what kind.
Unkind, I should say.
Unkind.
Well, we have branched out. For example, my son was in the film and television field, doing very well, did very well. And so the sky is the limit nowadays.
Right. Let me switch here to the fact that English now has become such an accepted norm of communication, really, in pretty much all of the world, you know. So, what do you think as a professor of English about the present situation where we talk about so much talk about language? Should it be this? Should it be that? And yet, at the same time, all of us know that if you know English, you can, in fact, prosper in any country of this world.
Yes,
What do
that's
you
true.
feel?
That's true. Well, politics apart, everybody wants to learn English
True.
and to excel in it. But I suppose it's politically incorrect to say that English is more important than this or that, the other tongue. But
It's
English,
an advantage, right?
it is definitely an advantage. It can get you a job anywhere, really, which most other languages may not. They may be, good in certain parts of the world, but English can take you wherever you want to go.
Right. Your book, the book on your father, the book on heroism, when is that actually going to be falling into place? When can we hope to see it being published? What do you think?
It is with the publisher right now. He has promised to get back to me very soon. Let us wait and see. I hope that it will happen soon.
Do you think, Dr. Pepin, that once that book comes out, you might get responses from other families and probably will be able to compile something else, maybe in the future, not distant
why
future,
not?
where other families too can get onto this bandwagon, as it were, and also give their contributions, because this kind of history must be there in the archives of so many families that we know, different families, different communities.
And in national archives. This is what I feel is going beyond.
Yes, that's true. I like that. Then you like the title of our show, obviously. You think you might be able to get it up to the National Archives level?
Hopefully, with your help. Why not? Anything is possible.
When the book is ready, you've got to get back to me on
I would
that.
definitely do that. Yes.
How would you bring that to the notice, apart from the media? And I can see that, but say the powers that be up in Delhi. How do you visualize that thing happening at all?
I like to think of myself as a good writer with a limited scope for influence. That may not well be true, but if I can stir the consciences of just a few people, perhaps that will grow cataclysmically and the word will spread.
Right. So, do you think the book might come out in what, 1 year, 6 months?
Definitely
1 year?
less than 6 months. I would say less than 6 months. It has to come out.
What stage is it at, though?
The draft is with the publisher already.
Mm-hmm.
The documentary evidence that I've brought here, all that will have to be incorporated. And the history that my dad has written down in his army book, that will have to be reproduced in this new book so that the authenticity is retained.
Do you have any plan to send a copy of that book to the people with whom you're communicating with in the UK? Do you intend to do that?
I probably will take it to them myself. I hope to go to England very soon. And if the book is ready, and I hope it will be ready by that time, I will probably present them with a copy with my best regards.
Oh, that will be very nice. I hope it actually succeeds. And I hope that succeeds, The book has got photographs of your father, I presume,
Yes.
and a lot of information about what he went through.
Not exactly. It's just a manual of the
happenings.
happenings in the war. Of course, the photographs give you wonderful pictures of Italy at that time. I don't know why he concentrated so much on Italy, but some of the photographs are outstanding there. And he's got some photographs of the great North African desert, the Sahara, where he was stationed too.
Mm-hmm.
Those photographs have never seen light of day. So this will be something new for everybody to stand up.
Right. So
And
do you believe now, at this point, that the British themselves, who made full use of every single army person, army, officer, whoever it was, okay, do you think that they really paid the credit that they deserved, that our people deserved? What do you think personally?
no, not really. But in hindsight, they're always apologetic. At least
At
there.
least they feel bad about that, too.
At least that is all right. I do not know how many other societies are willing to accept the blame for their own failures.
That I have to accept that comment from you. But maybe when this book goes up there, let's see what how they respond to you and what you have done. And I'm sure it'll be a great honor for you to actually have them even read your book, even look at it, even see that there was somebody like this, and your dad was only just one of so many people
Yes,
who went to the
millions.
wars. And will you take your wife with you and your sons, or what do you plan to do?
Two of my sons are there already,
Oh,
so
really?
I've got a base.
Okay,
Yeah, we're going there because
nice.
we're going for probably a Christmas vacation there, and let's see how it goes. I'm hopeful to meet my original publishers, they're called Author House. They are stationed in Milton Keynes in England.
Oh, yes, okay. Mhm.
So I probably want to go there and give them a look up and say, hey, I was the guy who wrote those books for you. And
the publishers of these books.
Of these books, yes.
Okay, right. So they might ask you why you didn't bring this book to them then, the heroism book, right? They might ask you that, Brian.
Yeah, I will answer appropriately, I suppose.
Okay, right. I'm afraid I don't have any more time to keep on enjoying this conversation with you, but I'm going to say thank you so much indeed. I do appreciate you coming all the way from where you live, which is far away from our studio. Yeah. Thank you so much for being with us.
I almost have to take a plane, but we're there close by.
But you got here all right and on time. Well, that's all we have time for here on Going Beyond. It's been great to have you join us to listen to Dr. Pepin today. And so don't forget that next weekend, same time, same place. And until then, bye for now.